Hi, Harim. Thank you for having me over. It's always a pleasure to comment what's going on all over the European nations. Today it is indeed a sad event as the extreme left, it's more than the liberals. The liberals are the ones who are funding the movement. Soros' links are the ones that are funding the movement. But the extreme left is trying to import what is going on in the United States, the rioting with George Floyd death recently. We have seen in Paris that they took back a case from a gentleman, Mr. Traoré, that was killed during an arrest in which we have to remember that he acted very violently. And they have brought back this case that dates from 2016 to claim that if you are black in France, you are treated differently than if you are French. What you have to understand is that France is a very different society than the one of the United States. We are our black moments in history, but France was never, because of its history, a segregated country. And we do not have racism in France. It is not something that is part of the French society. But they are trying to make it part of the political language. They are trying to portray the black people in France as being in danger when they meet the police, and they have been rioting. And we see that there is a double standards in France right now. If you are a normal person and you walk in the streets of Paris during confinement, you will be arrested and you will be given a fine of 135 euros. But if you are claiming that you need to do some kind of protest and you gather at 10 or 15,000 people in the street of Paris, the government is not going to take any actions. So Macron is blessing this type of movements and is increasing the level of violence in France.
Jérôme, when you look across Europe as well, the French obviously still, much to my chagrin, part of the European project. When you look across Europe as well, do you suspect that this will spread? And much like there was no real European Union response as this political bloc to the coronavirus pandemic, what do you expect the European Union's response to these protests to be?
I hope they do nothing, because anything that the European Union does, it is counterproductive and it is inefficient. But I expect them to try and claim this as a worthy cause of the European Union, because in fact, as I said again, those Antifa are a terrorist movement, and I'm very happy that President Trump decided to classify them as a terrorist organization. I have last year I already wrote at the President of the European Parliament to request the same thing in France. I truly believe that these groups that are heavily funded act as terrorist paramilitary organizations and are extremely dangerous to the security and safety of our nations, and they are trying to spread all over Europe. In France, you have to understand that when Macron was elected 3 years ago, he was facing Marine Le Pen, who is my party leader, and they were saying that the great danger with Rassemblement National was the fact that France would be chaotic. But what we witness is that for the past 3 years, France has gone into a continuous chaos. And now with this latest protest, Macron his legacy will basically be violence in our country. This serves the interest of people of the people that are I would say the finance organization, because the more the society is disrupted, the more lower wages are in danger, and the more people get exploited. So this is part of this globalization project to make sure that our societies that are nation-based are disrupted in order to be able to establish some kind of organization that pays people the least possible amount of money and offers the least possible protection.